I think the Hertfordshire Young People's Health and Wellbeing Survey is important because it helps commissioners and providers across the county to know how best to support and engage with young people like me. I think it's important that the councillors listen to me because young people have great ideas, and although we're young, we can share ideas that really affect everyone's futures in a positive way. If I was a councillor, I would listen to young people because, like I just said, we have amazing ideas and they need to be shared.
Overall, a third of young people felt that their well-being has become worse since COVID-19. Young people's well-being has become worse because of the isolation from their friends and for losing loved ones, and just from worrying about losing loved ones. My best friend's mum died of diabetes because she couldn't find a place in the hospital because it's full of COVID-19 people. It made her feel sad because she heard she lost her mum, and the grief is getting to her as she's isolating as well. Girls' well-being appears to be more affected than boys, with 39% of girls rating their well-being as lower since COVID, compared with 25% of boys. 52% of young people identifying as gay, lesbian, or bisexual rated their well-being as worse since COVID.
The biggest worries for young people currently are schoolwork, their mental health, their appearance, COVID-19, and loneliness. I think the biggest worry that young people have in this current moment is probably COVID-19, mainly for the fact that many people have relatives that suffer and might, pass on these symptoms and might have to go to hospital and may even die. And I think the other worry is probably the isolation that COVID is inflicting. So many people have been placed in lockdowns and separated from their friends and family and just aren't able to connect to people. However, these kind of worries are normal, and it is okay to not be okay. But sometimes if worries become too big and start affecting your daily life, it can be helpful to talk to someone or ask for help. Self-help information and details and support available can be found online at justtalkhearts.org. Some common coping strategies for young people finding effective for managing worries include listening to or creating music and art, talking to friends and family, exercise, and gaming. Personally, when I'm right in the moment, just trying to exercise with breathing and imagining the opposite colour that the worry seems to project often works for me. And in the long term, I try to imagine just making some art and some poetry just to express how I feel. Services for young people can help because other people just often need to know how you're feeling, and you can always get help from other people.
Physical activity levels have declined since COVID-19, as has eating fruit and vegetables. This is because of multiple factors, including less accessibility, such as no access to gyms or PE lessons, or no access to nature walks outside, as well as things like less motivation due to declining mental health and no incentive from PE teachers. Only a quarter of young people do the recommended amount of physical activity, 60 minutes or more, for 5 days out of 7. We do less and less physical activity as we get older, and girls tend to do less than boys. Being active and eating healthily make a big difference not only to our physical health but also to our sense of well-being.
Most young people, 9 out of 10, do not smoke or vape. This is a lot lower than in the past, so before COVID, and at the Youth Council, we think this is because at home, you're not seeing your friends as much, so you're not receiving the same peer pressure that you were before, because you don't feel like when you're with your friends and they're smoking, you should be smoking too. Plus, at home, you can't hide smoking from people like your parents if you don't want them to find out. So, yeah, and it's harder to access things like cigarettes because of COVID, because you don't have the same freedom to go into shops, and it's like you have to wear a mask and stuff. 6% of young people have smoked once or twice, and 9% of people have vaped once or twice, but the majority don't continue with it.